this is first point in time in a while where we could feel very, very optimistic about our future.
California has a new equity plan to distribute vaccines, and it could lead to San Diego reopening faster. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto. The state has decided to set aside 40% of vaccines for people living in the 400 zip codes that have been hit hardest by COVID. State officials say the goal is to get 2 million people vaccinated in vulnerable communities. Once that happens, the state will make it easier for counties to move through reopening tiers that dictate what businesses can be opened. News 8's Marcella Lee spoke with the governor one-on-one a short time ago and began with the one question on a lot of people's minds.
San Diegans want to know, when will we fall out of that purple tier and get right into the red tier? Is this something that could happen in the next week, 2 weeks?
I anticipate, all things being equal, look, we're down to 2.1% positivity. It's been the lowest positivity rate in America. Just consider states like Texas, 5 times higher positivity rate than the state of California. And now we're approaching 10 million vaccines, which no other state in the country has done.
For San Diego County specifically, we reported a 3.5% 2-week rolling average for positivity rates. So that is encouraging for our county as well.
The positivity rate in San Diego is much lower than we've seen in some time. So you're very, very close. But again, the epidemiology, this is all determined not arbitrarily. This is determined on a tiering strategy. It's now in the 26th week. But there are 12 additional counties, yours included, that are very likely to come out in the very, very near term in the next week or two.
I know that for our Hispanic community, over 50% of the cases, but yet 15% of the vaccine doses. So what you're doing today is really going to impact that community. In hindsight, do you feel like that community should have been given priority a little bit earlier on in the vaccine process?
It was. We were doing this probably more than any other state. And I personally been out to dozens and dozens of counties in this state in the last 3 weeks. The reality is not at the pace we needed to do. And so what we did today is stepped up to a whole different level. But here's why we're able to do it. We now have much more vaccines than we did just a few weeks ago.
I also asked the governor about the big problem we're seeing here in San Diego County with senior citizens and a lot of other eligible people not being able to get that second dose, and all of the canceled appointments at Petco Park and other sites because of the Moderna vaccine, specifically the shortage there. And so I'll share what the governor said about that tonight at 6 p.m. Carlo.
So people are going to get excited when they hear we could move through the reopening tiers more quickly. What are the requirements to move up? So he wants to get the 2 million people in those underserved communities, the designated 400 zip codes, 2 million people vaccinated. And once that happens, the tier systems are going to evolve and change. And so, for instance, instead of 7 cases per 100,000 people, we'll be able to move down from the purple tier to the red tier when we hit 10 cases per 100,000 people. He said there are going to be changes to sports guidelines, to schools, and also to travel recommendations. So he said, if everything continues in the same trend that it's been going, which is encouraging, that we will be opening up in the next week or two. And San Diego's case rate adjusted yesterday, just was told just a little over 10. So it looks like we would be in line if those requirements are met. Some good news. Marcella Lee, that was a great interview. Enjoyed that very much. Thanks.